everybody. Welcome back to Brelsford Family Homestead. I'm Darcy. We had our first possible threat of frost, so I picked all of my peppers last night, and so it was a perfect time for me to add it to some green tomatoes, some onions, to make salsa verde. So it's not with tomatillos like typical, but if you follow this book, my favorite, can you tell? You can use green tomatoes instead of tomatillos. I've been wanting to try this, intending to try this, so today is the day. So I thought I'd bring you along. Also, I'm going to be canning these in wide mouth pints, just because I want to be able to easily blend it up and make it smoother when I use it. This recipe is not canned smooth, and it's not considered safe to be canned smooth. So that's why I'm going to do it in a wide mouth with an immersion blender. If you don't have wide mouth, then just, and you want it smooth, you can just pour it into a blender or whatever. But it got to me to thinking also as I was going through my wide mouth rings that I have some that are a little rusty. I actually have a whole box of rusty rings that I put aside for crafts later. And because I got this out, I thought maybe you guys would like to see what I do with my rusty rings. See those cute little pumpkins? Those are made with wide mouth canning rings. I've made them with the regular mouth as well, and they're super cute. I don't have one to show you because I gave them away. But maybe I'll do a video or something on how to make those sometime. It's super easy, and you have to agree, that's cute. So anyway, I'm going to start coring, chopping, and all of that, the ingredients. I'm going to double this just because it only makes like three pints, I believe, according to the recipe, and I have a lot more than that, and I definitely want to make more than 3 pints. I'm going to wear gloves when dealing with the jalapenos. I've used dish gloves before. They work great. They kind of limit the feeling in your fingers, so for some things I don't like it. Today I have plenty of these from just doing chicken butchering, clean, unused obviously. So I'm just going to use those. So I will get all of this set up and bring you back when I'm about done cutting everything up. Well, before I show you me cutting up things, I thought I should give you a little bit better look at this decorations. These were super cheap little battery operated lights I got at Walmart. These are just some fall picks that I had bought a couple years ago, and a blue ball mason jar. It has a tea light in it that's burnt out. You can put an electric one or a real one, but super easy and just really a few dollars into this decoration. As I've begun coring and slicing these tomatoes, I thought I should show you this little tool. I'll link it in the description. I got mine for under $2, and I use it so much for so many different things. But let me turn you down here. Instead of trying to cut all around with a knife, ta-da, get you one. Now I do like a little heat. Well, actually I like a lot of heat, but not when I'm sharing, because my family doesn't appreciate a lot of heat. So I am using all jalapenos in this, but I will leave some of the ribs and seeds just to give it a little extra, because I've made some things with some of these jalapenos and was kind of disappointed in how hot they were. Now, of course, because I do this, it might end up being a lot hotter than expected, but I think it'll still be fine. And that little tool that I showed you is for when you do want to de-seed a pepper. They are really handy to just scoop it all out just like that. Of course, you can rip it with your hand or with a knife too, but I find that is easy. So I'm going to cut these up, de-seed some, but not all, and chop them up to put them in the pot with the tomatoes. I've got my peppers finished here. One recipe calls for 5 to 10 peppers, so I doubled it and went for the max and used 20 jalapenos. I'll cut up some garlic and the onions. The recipe calls for 2 cloves of garlic, and since I am sticking to the recipe, although I'm doubling it, I am going to use the biggest cloves that I found, because 2 cloves of garlic seems like a ridiculously small amount. So If you have never seen one of these before, this is an easy way to peel your garlic. You just stick it in there. Ta-da! So then I'm just going to chop this up. Is that what it calls for? Yes, finely chopped, not minced, it doesn't say, but I will be blending this all up with an immersion blender when I open the cans to use them. So it will all be very smooth. I really do hope that I like this salsa. I prefer not to buy it in the store. And so far, everything but the onions, because I did not grow large red onions this year. And I think the cumin and then the lime juice. Everything else will be from my garden. So for me, I love that. And it's got to taste better too, right? It says finely chopped red onions, so to me that's kind of like diced, isn't it? I mean, so just do how I usually do with onions. Oop, cling, cling, cling. All right, I'm gonna cut up some more. I thought this would happen. This is why I did the onions last. Okay, I'm only crying because of these onions. My eyes are watering. I almost couldn't see to cut the last little bit. So here's the onions. Woo! I'm gonna go wash my hands and dry my tears before I do the next thing. I did wash my cutting board and knife and everything before I started on the garlic and onions after handling the jalapenos, just to prevent, you know, me touching my face or anything. Because right now, if I were to wipe my face and hadn't have done that, I could get hot stuff in my face or my eye, and I don't want to do that. One time when I was serving as a missionary in Cameroon, I had ground some habaneros and garlic on a grinding stone with my hands and thought I washed it really, really well. Afterwards, I mean, I could still feel some burns on my hands, but I thought I washed them well. And at the time I wore contact lenses. And when I put my contacts in, it was like somebody shoved a hot poker through my eyeball. So I'm always very careful ever since then. So let me go wipe up my tears. Okay, I feel better. I've composed myself. Now we need 1 cup of lime juice. I'm using this brand. Okay. All right, then we're to take this. You can't see everything that's in here, but we're gonna take this and bring it to a boil on the stove. All right, I've brought this up to a boil. Set you back down here. I need to add my spices. This cumin, oregano, salt, and black pepper. And then some cilantro. And I'm supposed to let this boil for 5 minutes, and then we'll get it in the jars. The salsa is done. I'm ready to put it in jars and put it in the canner. I want to give it just a quick taste, out of curiosity. It's really good. Good. It's not super spicy or anything, so the rest of my family will not have an issue with it. I'm going to fill these to 1/2-inch headspace, one at a time, and put them in the canner. I'm going to go ahead and take that lid off though. do have a couple extra jars ready just because if there's anything that I would criticize about the ball book is that the amounts with things like this never seem to be correct. It's like there's always extra. I guess extra is better than not enough, but I always need more jars. Okay, that's good. We've got a little piece of paper towel here. This is vinegar spray, just to clean anything off of there. With the rest of the jars. I'm going to process, put the lid on, bring that back up to a rolling boil, and then I will process it for 20 minutes. Turn the heat off, take the lid off, wait 5 minutes, and then we'll pull the jars out. The timer has gone off for this to sit for 5 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and take them out of the canner. Let you see that. That's really beautiful. Now we'll let them sit here on this towel cutting board for 12 to 24 hours. Then I'll take the rings off. Make sure that the lid sealed. I'll wipe them down and label them and put them in the pantry. I definitely want to make some more of this, but I don't really have a whole lot of hot peppers left because I have been smoking them and drying them for seasoning, so I don't know. Maybe if I can source some more peppers, we'll see. I'll definitely be on the list for next year. I did get 7 pints, so by doubling it, I did have another extra pint instead of just having a half to do something with. It tastes really good. I'm excited to see what it will taste like in my green chili. I will have to maybe let you know how it goes over at the chili soup cook-off at church. We'll see. I really appreciate you watching. If you're liking these videos, please consider subscribing and giving it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you for watching and your comments and messages. I really do appreciate it. Until next time, God bless.